Welcome back to Alternative Reality Gaming. I'm your host Lenny, and if you're lucky, one of my furry co-hosts will join us today. Your stream will begin shortly. Enjoy. Okay, so that challenges things in my truck. I can still work for other people. It also makes things easier when I'm trying to see if there's new stuff. So, let's see if we can find a short little load over here, which we kind of did. Why am I getting a message? CBS, no one cares. I kind of want to reroute through that to see what it is. It says it's a 12-minute load. I should have plenty of time to do this. Let's take this job. It pays pretty decent too. Oop, sorry, kitty. Just whacked you in the head. So I need to find. Oh yeah, when you start off on another load, and it's not your truck, they just put you in the load right away. Forgot about that. So let's get rid of these digital camera mirrors. We don't need those. And then let's adjust the seat. Actually seems kind of okay. I'm not really. I think they did okay with that one. Let's just adjust the mirrors. Go all the way out until you can just barely see the truck. You're in the truck, so you should already know where it's at. And then you go all the way out with the little guys, which on this truck coincidentally stops right as to where you can just barely see the truck anyways. So it's kind of like exactly where my settings normally are. Let's get on the road with this Mercedes. Kiki. You got about 15 minutes. And then I'm going to deliver this load. And then I gotta go. And then you're not going to be able to sit here and chill anymore. Fancy place we're taking a load out of. They got their own little private drive with their own private gates. And this wants me to turn right when I reach the road. A little bumpy, but we're getting there. Even without the traffic mod, there's still traffic when you get to the roads and stuff, so I'm okay with that. I do like it better though when traffic is pretty truly congested. But I need more of a computer, I guess, for that. Speed limit's 80 through here. I guess I can speed up. It wants me to drop to 70. That's what that alert was. Where is my coffee? Oh, I will go straight, girl. Don't worry. There's a water tower that I can't really see, but I know it's there. Alright. I tried building a new turn signal the other night. It's actually over here, but if I go to grab it, I'm gonna piss off the cat. I learned my lesson. I gotta check the controller before I do all the work. I plugged it in, made sure all the buttons worked, but I didn't check for drift, and the joystick's drift is so bad that it'll just wander to one side on its own, just sitting still. Like, you don't have to touch nothing. And it does it in a matter of a couple seconds, really. But, um, I built the entire controller out of it, got it all hooked up, and then I couldn't even use my menus because the game was trying to use it as a mouse, even though I told it not to. And yeah, so the controller idea failed. I think it's like the fourth one that hasn't really worked right. The first one worked okay. Second one worked really good, but then it broke over time. And the third one was about equivalent to the first, and this one didn't work for shit. So uh, I'm just using old controllers that I have laying around. Uh, they have to be cabled, and they have to be USB. And I just happen to be digging through some electronic stuff at my house the other night and found some old Mad Catz Xbox 360 controllers that were USB, and one was labeled good and one was labeled bad, which I already knew. I used the bad one intentionally, but when I plugged it in, I checked both the joysticks, and the one joystick had no drift, and the other one had drift, so I used the one that had no drift. But the issue is that the program that I was using only registered on and off, not necessarily whether it was wandering. So the dead zone looked like it was doing what it was supposed to and not showing on when it was at rest. But as soon as I put it into the actual thrustmaster software, that'll show you every movement of the joystick to the smallest amount and everything. The joystick's just like pegged to the left, like walking. So I'm gonna have to take apart the good Xbox 360 controller. The chances of me ever using my Xbox 360 again are pretty slim, so I just start repurposing things. The Xbox itself works. I just already stole the power supply from it, the big power brick, because if you cut the plug off of it, it has 3 positives and 3 negatives, all totaling 12 volts, and it's essentially like a computer power supply. So like the same thing. You either have the choice of twisting all the positives together and then all the negatives together and getting all the amperage of the entire block to power a larger item, or you can use the individuals and have them power individual items. Not really sure why you'd necessarily need to do that unless you're going to put individual on-off switches, but at that point you can put individual on-off switches on all of them twisted together too. So I think you're probably best twisting them all together just to get all the amperage. And 12 volt electronics only use what they're designed to use, so you can give them more usually as long as they have like a regulator built into them. Obviously there's some devices that don't play nice, like LEDs. Just a straight up LED, if you plug it in to too much amperage, it's going to pop instantly. But if that LED has its own microcontroller built into it that regulates all the power and stuff like that, like a normal 12 volt item for a car, those usually have regulators and stuff built into them. So those you can plug in with all the amperage. But if you're dealing with, I guess, fans are probably PC fans. So like for my wind simulator and stuff like that I'm gonna end up having to use that power supply for, I'm probably gonna have to reduce the power going into those fans, otherwise it's just gonna burn up fans. Unless I find one of those little fan controller boxes that are for like PC cases and wire that to the 12 volts, because that should step down the amperage. It's used to seeing the higher power from the computer and stepping it down to a more usable power. But yeah, so I have one controller left. And oh, actually the cat left, so I can grab my controller. It's sitting right. Oh, I can feel it. It's snagged on something, but might even still be plugged in. No, it's not. Okay. So it looks kind of silly, but all it is an old DVD case that I cut down to make the controller lower profile essentially. And then this is actually just your normal joystick and I think it's a 5 mil syringe, like from a hospital or vet's office or whatever. They're extremely lightweight, so they work really well. You just kind of grind down the end of the joystick and super glue this bad boy in place, which I already had broken it back off again. So, but it's easier just to take the thing off. But yeah, works great friggin' when the joystick actually works. So for now, the only reason I kept all this is because obviously I'm going to reuse the case. I've already done the work of cutting all the holes and making shit fit where it's supposed to and whatnot. And then it actually just velcros to the side of my steering wheel once it's all done. And that's how I make turn signals out of controllers. But they just don't hold up. I bet you if I was to use a newer controller with the Hall effect joystick, all of my issues would. Wow, that's a really close cargo ship. But all my problems would probably be fixed. When you do these kind of setups, you can adjust the dead zone. So even if the joystick's weight kind of makes it want to sit out and want to trigger whatever angle it's facing, for the most part, you can create a dead zone and it won't trigger then, and then you actually have to smack the turn signal to get it to turn on. And that's what I actually did with my second one. That made it work really, really, really well. It just was an old joystick that had already seen a shitload of abuse, and putting a syringy thing on it and smacking it around and shit kills them. So it just killed the joystick on me, and here we are planning another one. But I actually did recently, like for Christmas, we got a new Xbox controller for, well, the Xbox and the PCs. Mostly so my wife, can play. Most of my controllers are the original Xbox controllers from the original Xbox One. So they are wireless and they're not Bluetooth. So they can't be used with other objects like Xbox and stuff, or computers and stuff like that, unless you use a cable. And plugging a cable into those Xbox controllers is really only meant for charging, so it kind of disconnects and reconnects and stuff like that as you're trying to play a game. And not ideal, so you just kind of need an actual hardwired controller, which is what we got. I think it was like 25 bucks, and it came with Hall effect sensor joysticks and whatnot, so we'll see. Dude, it's hauling ass. We'll see how long that controller holds up, and if it actually holds up pretty well, maybe I'll buy another one and dissect the old one and use the old one to make a wireless turn signal. I mean, I think it would be kind of annoying because I'd have to charge it periodically. I still think cabled makes more sense, but I have been curious if I could make wireless stuff by doing the same thing with wireless controllers. So, I am in the cones. They are green. We can put the legs down and we can call it. So we got 2 loads done today, not too bad. And got a little over 2,000 euros out of the deal in a level. I'm not exactly sure. I wonder how much the used trucks are. Oh, it's the first Tuesday of the month. Scared the shit out of me. Fucking tornado siren. I don't know. I might just end up having to end the video here because you guys probably hear that and can't hear me. So, till next time, peace. If you liked today's episode, please consider leaving a like and subscribing as it goes a long way to helping the channel to grow. Thank you.